Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Founders Series. This is a new segment of the Decloak podcast, and my very special guest today is Vladi Sandler. Vladi will give an introduction to himself in a minute, and for our audience, this is a new topic I wanted to touch upon within the YouTube series to talk to people who have branched off, built their own companies in and around cyber, and we wanted to get their insight around how they did that, get some information around their background, the early days and challenges and successes, and hopefully that resonates a lot with people out there. So welcome, Vladi. For those who don't know you, tell me about yourself and also Lightspin.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to participate. My name is Vladi Sandler. I was the CEO and the co-founder at Lightspin. It was the cloud security platform, the category called CNAPP, Cloud Native Application Protection Platform, which is aggregation of CSPM and CWPP and some additional ones. We had been established in 2020, $25 million in total. Seed round was led by IPEX, aided by Deal Capital. At some point, IPM was also part of our investors. Of course, we had some great angel investors as part of our journey. Yes, 3.5 years of execution with more than 40 paying customers and defined ACP. And a year and a half ago, we were acquired by Cisco. Yep.
Oh, nice. And I'm assuming you're still part of Cisco then. And I'd
Yes.
imagine you have like a kind of, I'd imagine with some of these deals and acquisitions, they keep people on for a few years and then they integrate the product. And then is that the current process, or is this an item where you're now part of the Cisco family?
Yeah, I'm still part of Cisco. We invested the last period of time in innovation and integration, and of course reorganization required for. So still working for them. Yeah.
Nice. And then diving right into the background and inspiration of Lightspin, can you talk me through what was the spark or the aha moment that led you to start your company?
Yep. Sure. My co-founder and I, or Zozana, we had more than 10 years of experience in cloud security. And actually we came to solve our own problem. As simple as that. We knew cloud security really well. I started to do cloud 2014, I think. We suffered from all this posture management domain. Now, as in our last position, we provided professional services of security design for Volkswagen's migration to cloud for the connected car project. And we built some design, some security best practices. We hacked it, and in another deployment, and we knew exactly what is the problem, and we knew how to solve it. And what was really unique that came from the offensive. Both Or and I, we did offensive for I have more than 6 years of experience, most of them in cybersecurity offensive, penetration testing domain and stuff. And that exactly was the point where we understood that offensive is the solution, because until this point, you get a CSPM cloud security posture management solution that basically provided compliance, list of findings with no results, with nothing. And we learned that you don't care about thousands of findings. You as an attacker won't find one gap to exploit to move forward on your lateral movement journey. And that's what we did. We built the attack path. It was a unique technology with unique algorithm. Seriously, the best touch in the world. We're really proud about it. That could help you to calculate the shortest path to the damage. We always say we are the Google Navigator of the offensive cloud security.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, and this technology, basically from the unique value proposition, gave you the ability to do noise reduction instead of thousands of findings, 20 attack paths to damage, prioritization, and remediation to any kind of risk you have in your cloud environment, from your infrastructure service to your Kubernetes, from CI/CD security to runtime, in one holistic solution.
Nice. And then in terms of who were your biggest influences or mentors when you started out?
Yeah. Actually, we didn't have, we are not, we didn't have no real experience as founders. We were not really connected in this ecosystem. People don't really know us. it was difficult to raise first place just because, you like expert in someone that don't understand nothing in your domain, he say it's not going to work. Like it's ridiculous, right? Like I know better than him. Or if some VC brings some people to do me due diligence that don't understand nothing in this domain, probably they after can call me and pay me a bunch of money to give them professional services or try to hire me. But they skeptical about what we're talking about. For us, it was really difficult. We didn't have some mentors and stuff. We did learn that one of the angles, and it's a really good tip to first timers, is after I got round seats, we closed seat. I started to reach out to other founders in the ecosystem and ask like for 1 hour from them. So every time new founder from new company, and I prepared one question every week, new founder, new problem, new challenge, new question, how to do that, what should we do now? And that was basically my mentorship until in more advanced process. Yes, we start to hire people into the advisory board. We get Guy Nitzad, who was the CEO of Insight, and after that, Varun, who was from Redlock, and um, a lot of other great people that try to support us in different ways. Yeah.
I love that. It's such a kind of unique approach, and people think it's just like so easy, and these things just come naturally. C gives you lots of money, and you're right. You're an expert in your domain, and you're trying to find that translation layer, and then it's like kind of you eventually get to a point where you're expanding your network to then talk to like-minded people, and then I would assume that leads to other things like people joining your board or people coming to help and mentor and give advice. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then in terms of like, what did you want to do when you were a kid, and how did that evolve into starting a company? I don't know if they're related, or did you think I've always wanted to work in cloud? Or
No, as a kid, I was a dreamer. I wanted to be a policeman. I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't really. I never thought I would be CEO and co-founder and entrepreneur. It's not things that I was educated for. I born in Ukraine. I raised in Israel. When we are from a regular family, nothing special. No one been an entrepreneur, businessman before. But I do have to say that I always tell that to people that, especially people that just retired from the army and they want to open a startup. It's a really common thing here in Israel, and I think that it's a bad approach because you should experience a little bit the real life, right?
yeah,
So I was 5 years in the army. I'm a retired captain. And I was like, I thought I know everything. And you come outside, you don't know what is PO, you don't know how to work with CISOs, you don't know how to give value, how to manage accounts, right? Even your English is not the best. So you want to open a startup. I don't like this approach. I think that if you're 21, 22, 23, you should go for a couple of years and work for real enterprise, for some startup or some high-tech company mid-market, and get some real experience to see how people build R&D, how do they manage outside there, right? And I think it will be more about, I think that my skill set, experience, understanding of the problem and the market when I was 30 years old, after almost like 8-10 years of experience on the public sector market, is that would help me to succeed.
yeah.
My military history and stuff like that. So,
And it's such a refreshing take on it, Vladdy, because I've spoke to many different people who have come straight from military to then build a product. And that's a really good point you make about get some experience, get a flavor of enterprise, understand the mechanics, the politics, and all the kind of stuff that kind of comes behind that. So yeah, I really like that take. And that kind of gives me a segue into like the early days of Lightspeed. And what were the early days of the company like? Do you have any funny or memorable moments in the early days?
of course, we left our company, our work, and I started to brought customers like bootstrapping. We did like kind of penetration testing for Kubernetes, and we provided the report with the attack path. And they actually paid us $6,500, which is huge money, right? For
Nice.
when you don't have nothing and commitments and stuff. And I think that every time I succeed to bring someone for deployment with our Python prototype, it was huge. It was super huge, right?
Yeah.
And when I decided to go to fundraising, we get the data sets. I have a real proof point. I didn't try to sell someone, we're going to build that tag person, we're going to be the leader. No, no, no. Look, check it out. I presented to him the report and he's happy and he can talk to you guys and even tell you why he's happy. So I think it was a really amazing period and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. I like it. And, kind of, I always love to ask this question with the founders is how did you come up with the company name? And were there any alternative names that you considered?
Yep. Yep. Believe it or not, we just, I even don't remember the name of the, of this SaaS, but there were like, some SaaS websites that name generator, and it show you the domains that the free domains you have based on the generated names you do, and you put like categories. So we say we are cyber, we are on the cloud security and stuff, and it started to generate bunch of names, and every time give us names, and then we saw Lightspin and say, nice. It's a really good name, right? And we saw the domain was pretty cheap. It was $1,000.
Nice, nice. It's crazy because some people like it's either just super simple or that's like the one thing that they're just stuck. And then like before they submit like a customer proposal, they're like, we need a name. They're running about and they're like, they're looking in the house and they see something. And so, yeah, it's good. It's good when it's simple. And can you share a story about when something went wrong in the early days and how you handled it?
Yep. I think a lot of things went wrong all the time. Maybe my favorite story that I teach entrepreneurs is choose your battles and don't try to get all the opportunities, try to be focused. I think we did one big mistake, and the story was about I did a cold outreach via LinkedIn to Blackstone people, and they responded. They liked it. We showed them. We started to do some POC with them. I never had experience with enterprise sales as a salesman. Process was wrong. And more than that, it was required us to develop features that no one else asked us before, because the maturity being super high in Blackstone for cloud security. And until that point, we didn't met no company. By the way, even a year after, we didn't met no company with security maturity like them. So we developed the wrong features, right? And that may be really good story to share. You should try to learn. It's difficult early days to understand what is your ICP. But try at least to understand what's your MVP in jail looks like, right? And how can you really not be opportunistic? Because it's really budget game. If you have 20, $30 million, it's okay. But if you raise $2 or $5 million, you cannot go to the direction that can cause damage to your product. And that's exactly what we did.
And do you think it's really useful to get continuous feedback when it comes to like MVPs and or like during the sales process?
Yeah, of course, we did it a lot. We tried to, because we did a lot of one-time scans and we met a lot of companies. We tried to map those that we saw that they are more technical, they're looking to be design partners, they're patient, in the sense that we are not a real vendor. And we picked them to be our design partners and work with them closely. They won, right? Because we signed ridiculous checks with them for years after, and they get a great product for a really good price. But we got an ability to get a real feedback from the market, which is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. That ultimately helps steer where you're going to go as a company, whether it's going to go up or down ultimately. But I love it. And then kind of moving into like the the challenges and successes. Segment I really love to ask my guests is, what's the biggest risks that you've taken with the company and how did it turn out?
Yep. Well, we really quickly understood that our real competition is with Orca and Palo Alto, and they start to raise a lot of money. Yep. And we understood that we cannot play the same game. Like, there is 100 million, we're not supposed to go to rate. Even if someone will give me 100, we should not take it. It's not the right move. And we see they have like 70, 80, 90, 100 AEs, strong sales force, aggressive sales approach. And we took a risk. And we told our investors that we think we should go on our ICP for mid-market and not enterprise sales. And we should go on smaller checks. We should go on inbound marketing with PLS, product-led sales. Yep. And that's what we did. It was a strategic move, which succeeded. Before the acquisition, we had more than 700 onboardings.
Nice.
Yep. It was a really good demand-gen approach. And we take a different angle for different sector on the market, right? In which we've been much better. But it was a scary move to go to PLG, PLS, inbound, self-onboarding, things that not everyone ready to go. It's easier to say, well, I will try to raise some money, I will hire more sales reps, I will try to do the same play, but you cannot fight if someone bigger than you the same game, you will lose, right? So we changed the strategy and we won. Big risk, a lot of money invested in, but the results being proven. We become to be marketing-driven company, not self-driven company.
I love that. And it's absolute gold dust, Vladi, because people will be maybe in that same kind of position, where they're looking at massive competitors. You've mentioned like Wiz, the last round of funding was insane, how could you compete with that? And, it's almost like you've kind of went against the grain and it's worked, which is excellent to hear. And in terms of like, what's the one failure you've experienced with a company that turned out to be a blessing in disguise?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. What's the one failure you've experienced with the company that turned out to be a blessing in disguise?
2021 was the year that everyone tell you should raise more money and you need to hire more people and you need to show growth. And it was a huge mistake. We spent a lot of money. We brought the wrong people. I tried to build some big BDR team and the wrong VP sales and we hired 3 product marketing management teammates when you need only one. And it was painful. We really quickly understood it's a mistake. The market crashed down and we did small but significant for the improvement of the company. Plus that I understood that we spent a little bit more money than we should, but that's because we didn't know how to control it. And the boards, you don't hire enough people. You need to run faster. And sometimes I don't say don't run faster. I say be more cautious about how do you control your budget and do you know how to manage it, right? So if you do, sure, you should run faster. But it was a mistake.
And it's interesting because obviously that would have been around about the time of the pandemic, global instability. It's great when people are giving you a lump of cash to then, go hire as many people as you can. But that can also destabilize current pipeline, current ways of working, your culture of your company. It could offset the balance, and then you introduce all these new variables or new elements that then can pull you in different directions because there's more and more opinions coming to the table that may distract the actual focal point of, a good thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it until you need to effectively. Right. Yeah. So how do you stay innovative and ahead of the competition? So your biggest competitors, you'd mentioned some really big names. How did you innovate? How did you stay unique? Yeah.
I think that we're the only one that took the technology approach. we invested most of our money in R&D, develop deep dive technology. The others didn't do that. Orca Security took the site scanning approach, which everyone copy pasted day after. It was simple. We built a really good product, but no real deep dive technology at this point. I think today they are in a different position. But then we saw them do site scanning, we saw them strong asset management. They had a really good product. We knew that no one can copy paste us. And proof points came really quick because even when Gartner, because Gartner were always in good relationship with us, and we discussed with them about cloud security for long term, and we talked about the attack path. They decided that CNAP is one who has attack path as a feature. So when our competition decided to try to do attack path, they didn't succeed. They were like just static queries, and it didn't work with a bunch of false positives. We had a really deep dive tech that you cannot copy paste because it costs you a bunch of money, a bunch of R&D time. And we developed another deep dive tech called root cause analysis that can help you to remediate. But that no one can do at all. We could do back check on the graph. That's a simple question. What is the one problem that you solve that will eliminate a bunch of problems? And those two techs brought us to be in the top 10 finalists of RSA Sandbox, which was a huge success for us. So I think that you need to know what's your advantage and plan it. If you second timer and you know to hire the best sales force, you should build the best Salesforce company, right? If you're the master of the product, and sometimes I always say strong Salesforce, strong product, strong Salesforce, right? But that approach. If you're a strong marketing, go there. If you're strong tech, go there. But then you should match everything for that. When you build strong tech, it doesn't mean that you will have the best product. But in mid-market domain, you don't need the best product. You need a product that gives a full coverage and value to all the needs of the CISO, because you have less budget, smaller checks, right? Smaller team, but you cover everything for them. And that was our story. When you go on enterprise sales, it's a different story. You need a big, mature product with a lot of features and stuff. And then the technology is not interesting. It's more question, can I give you good reports? Can I give you authentication? Can I give you scoping and management for my business units, right? And we took the right play for our ICP. I felt more comfortable with CISOs like you, who are more technology CISOs. Most of them liked me and enjoyed it. They knew that they can trust our deep tech experience and cloud security experience. So we become to be even trusted advisors for them how to do cloud security right. Even when they have problems, they just ask us and we support them in how to manage their cloud security or their cloud. And then more than to go to some Fortune 500 CISOs, meet him for a steak, tell them that we are a big shot. We didn't have a good success there, right?
So I really like that market analysis you've given there, especially on the SME side, and being able to talk technicals with technical CISOs. It's becoming more and more apparent but CISOs are having to become more and more technical and understand specific domains like cloud, because everybody loves the cloud, and I think there's that kind of commonality between speaking to a vendor or a product created company that speaks the same language as you, because it's just easier to then work with people. It's easier to get a sale if we're being capitalistic about it. It just makes it so much easier, especially given your background as well. And yeah, it's really, really good analysis. And moving on to the last segment, the episode, we'll focus on some advice and reflections. So if you could talk me through some advice on how you raise funding, any key metrics that people may not think of, and anything else you can think is vital when building a product.
I think that maybe the most important thing when you do fundraising is remember that, and I know it's like a really stupid sentence to say, but in fact that shows, is remember that fundraising is not the goal, right? It's just a tool to hit your goals. And I think that you need to really find the right partner. If you have a good investors that have the right experience and you have a good chemistry with them, you know that they will be with you no matter what, your chances for succeed would be 10 times better. Everyone would raise from the top tier VCs, but maybe you should go to the right partner and other VCs that you feel better match with him, right? I do think that data is the key. As more data proofs you have around, it's easier to convert. Seed can be validation calls you did with CISOs. It can be design partners or some prototypes and some reports with manual work you did. In round eight, you have to show that you have paying customers, that you had design partners that been converted to paying customers in some basic funnel. And B, you have to prove early growth. You need to show that you know what is forecast and you have an ICP and you control it, right? So I think data proof is the key here. Yep.
Nice. I like it. And then another item would be, what's the common myth about entrepreneurship that you'd like to debunk?
Yep. Like I'm not sure I get the question. So
sorry, it's probably my accent. So there's a common there's a common myth about entrepreneurship. So is there anything you would like to debunk about any common myths around entrepreneurship? So like some people just assume that entrepreneurs, they raise some money, then they become billionaires, or entrepreneurs have overnight success. Is there anything kind of
I think that I think that the statistics is against you, and I always enjoy to ask people like, why do you do that, right? If you're curious to solve some problem, it can be problems that you suffer from or you found, that's awesome. But if you want to be rich, I always say the same answer. So you should go to work for CrowdStrike or Palo Alto. The stock is crazy. You will get probably more money than an entrepreneur, right? So that's right that you always hear about the successes, but no one never published the statistics about how many companies shut down. It's a really lonely journey. It's a really depressing journey. No one understands you. No one supports you. You're always by yourself. It's you and your founder if you married your wife. But things that VCC you don't see an opposite. You don't understand them. They not always understand your perspective. It's a really lonely journey. So I do think that you need to be grown up. You need to be mature for that. You need to understand that you did it for the right reason. Yep. I decided no. I don't think I have better answer for that than that.
It's good. It's good. I mean, I think you're absolutely spot on when it comes to. There's not enough mention about companies that don't make it, or the founders that don't make it. I read an article. I read an article recently about a founder who tried 10 times.
Yep.
And then on the 11th attempt, they did very well. And it's like, or you even look at someone like Adam Newman, who created WeWork. That was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. And all the stories that come with that. And now, Adam's a billionaire and people still keep giving him money. So you just never know in this game, I guess. But
you never know.
Yeah. And for you, Vladi, how do you define success, both personally and for your company?
I think that my success was that, we came without no knowledge, no experience, no connection, no network. And in 3.5 years, we succeeded to build a product, technology, go-to-market, culture. We had a really good culture. We had a really good company. People enjoyed to work there. People they felt part of that, and the outcome was good for everyone. It was a really good conversion. It was really good acquisition. And that's probably my opinion.
Nice. And then to finalize, Vladi, what's next for you? Are you looking to maybe at some point in the future build something else? Are you looking to, go live on a Caribbean island? What's next? Are you really enjoying mentoring other companies? And because you seem like the type, yeah.
First of all, I do mentor, and by the way, anyone who needs help, feel free to reach out to me. LinkedIn is the best way. would be more than happy to, to help and support and do whatever I can do. A lot of enterprise reaching out to me, not only from Israel, by the way, also international, and I'm trying to be, provide them as more value as I can.
Amazing.
Definitely in a couple of years after Cisco period of my life, yes, or and I want to establish another one, faster, bigger, stronger, and then Lightspin. So that's just a matter of time. Yeah.
I love it. And the fact that you've still mentioned your previous co-founder, and the fact that you would like to build something again with your co-founder, I think that's a real testament to the good partnership that you have with him, and also the success that you've managed to scale. A lot of people and co-founders, they just go their separate ways, maybe because it's just too much, or maybe they've had a good thing and they don't want to kind of tarnish it. But it's really good to hear, Vladi. And again, to conclude and wrap up the episode, I would like to thank you for your amazing advice, your amazing insight, and also for your time, and also the fact that you're offering to mentor other companies is amazing to hear. Yeah, Vladi, again, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I wish you a great day ahead.
Excellent.